Zippy's chili. If you know, you know. But if you don't, trust me, it's not like any chili you've ever had before. It's rich, unctuous, savory with a touch of sweetness, and it's thick enough you could practically eat it with a fork. It's made with both ground beef and Portuguese sausage. And to the horror of Texas chili purists, it has beans. Not just any beans, but dark red kidney beans. Chew on that, Texas. The best way to think of it is Zippy's chili is to traditional chili what Japanese curry is to Indian curry. So today, we're plating up what is arguably the best version you're gonna find outside of a restaurant in Hawaii or Las Vegas. Now, I've seen all sorts of copycat recipes on the internet, some claiming the secret ingredient is mayo or peanut butter. It's neither. I can almost understand the mayo because you can order Zippy's chili with a side of mac salad. And let me tell you, like Frank's hot sauce, that shit goes with everything. By the way, I've got a killer recipe for a Hawaiian mac salad, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. Now, first things first, most locals in Hawaii eat their Zippy's chili, and honestly, any chili for that matter, with rice. So let's get that out of the way. I'm using a rice cooker because it's just the easiest way to make rice. And I eat a lot of rice. But seriously, if you like making Asian food, what are you waiting for? You don't need to shell out a lot of money for a big fancy one with all the bells and whistles. There are economical rice cookers out there for every budget. So stop making excuses and get one. You'll thank me later. Either way you choose to cook your rice, make sure to always wash and drain your rice 3 times. More or less, and you'll just bring shame upon your house. Just pour some water into your pot, agitate the rice a bit, and slowly pour the water out, and you shouldn't lose more than a couple rice kernels. All you're really trying to do is to remove any dust or debris. So don't listen to all that nonsense about trying to get the water to run clear. And if you have a little water left at the bottom of the pot, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. Just fill the pot with fresh water to the corresponding number of rice scoops you used, turn it on, and just walk away. Walk away. Let's quickly go over the ingredients you're going to need for this recipe. First of all, you'll need 6 cups of H2O, 2 pounds of ground beef, 80-20 please, half a pound of Portuguese sausage. Now, I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea what brand of Portuguese sausage Zippy's uses in its chili. I wish I knew. All I can tell you is that every time I've used Redondo's mild Portuguese brand sausage, my chili has come out perfectly. Unfortunately, finding Hawaiian style Portuguese sausage, even in an Asian market, can be a challenge. In which case, I recommend substituting with Linguiça. It's essentially the same thing, except it won't be as sweet and as mild as Hawaiian style Portuguese sausage. Now, if you do happen to substitute with Linguiça, you may need to adjust the sugar level by adding half a teaspoon to even a full teaspoon more. Unfortunately, every brand is different, and so are their spices, so I can't give you an exact recommendation. You'll have to use your best judgment. However, if you can find Redondo's mild Portuguese brand sausage, you can follow this recipe as is. I like to remove the casing from my Portuguese sausage. Now, there are a couple ways to do this. You can try to peel it off, which I find tedious and frustrating, or depending on your knife skills, you can try cutting away the outer layer. Obviously, if you want to leave it on, that's up to you as well. You can either crumble it in your hands as best you can, which is what I'm doing, and I'll break it up even more as it cooks. Or you can finely dice it, or even grate it. 1 entire 15-ounce can of dark red kidney beans. You want everything from that can, so don't be afraid to scrape that bottom. 5 ounces of all-purpose flour. That came out to about 3/4 of a measuring cup. 4 to 6 ounces of tomato paste. 3 ounces of onion haseo. Roughly half a small onion chopped into a 1/4 inch dice. 2 ounces of celery. roughly 2 stalks, again, chopped into a 1/4-inch dice. 2 ounces, or roughly half a medium green bell pepper, chopped into a 1/4-inch dice. 2 teaspoons of white sugar. 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper. I have 2 tablespoons of generic chili powder. Use whatever brand you prefer. 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. 1 tablespoon of beef base and 1 tablespoon of chicken base. I'm using a Better Than brand. Highly recommend. And lastly, if you want to put that zip in your Zippy's chili, you're going to need 1 teaspoon of what I like to call magical seasoning goodness. Okay, it's just MSG, and you can omit it, but you'll be missing out. Trust me, you're going to want to add this to your shopping list with that rice cooker. Now we need to brown the beef. And for this step, you can just use the same pot you're going to cook your chili in. But because this is a cooking video, I'm going to use a skillet for demonstration purposes. Preheat your pot or pan over medium-high heat for about 3 minutes. Add a tablespoon of neutral cooking oil and give it about a minute to heat up. Then add the ground beef and the Portuguese sausage or linguiça. Make sure to break up the sausage and the ground beef as much as possible. Normally I would tell you to season your meat right about now, but because we're going to use beef base and chicken base later, we don't have to worry about it. Now, color isn't your goal here. What you're really trying to do is reduce all that liquid that's been released from the meat. Hopefully you can see there's a tremendous amount of liquid in there. What we want to do is make sure we reduce all that liquid so we end up with nothing but meat and its rendered fat. It's been about 10 minutes now. The meat is now essentially frying in its own rendered fat, which is what we wanted to get to. So drain off all the fat to a heat-proof bowl, as we'll be making a roux with it later. Now I'm going to transfer my meat to my final cooking pot. Turn the heat to medium-high. Now add your onions, your celery, and your bell peppers. And let those sweat out for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now you're just looking for those onions and celery and bell peppers to soften up, become a bit translucent. It's been about 10 minutes. Now we can add the chili powder and the black pepper. Stir that around for 30 seconds just to release its oils. Then add the tomato paste. Now you're more than welcome to cook that out for 3 to 5 minutes, but 1 or 2 minutes should be fine for this dish. Add all the water, turn up the heat to high until the water begins to boil. Add the Worcestershire sauce, the beef base, the chicken base, half the sugar, and the magical seasoning goodness. Give that a nice stir, mix everything well. Lower the heat to a simmer, cover, and let cook for at least 1 hour. Now, while our chili is simmering away, let's go ahead and make a roux, which I think is what a lot of people confuse for mayo or peanut butter. All three have a high fat content and will give you that rich, silky unctuousness. But only one of these is actually going to thicken your chili. And in order to make a roux, you're going to need a small skillet or pan. Add your fat to a hot pan over medium heat. Give the fat some time to heat up, then gradually add half the flour. You're looking for the consistency of a gravy or wet sand. Add a little more flour as necessary until you get the right consistency. Take your time. Make sure, again, you incorporate everything well. You may not use all the flour, so again, just add little by little. And if you added too much flour, don't worry about it. Just add a little extra oil. Now, if you start seeing black specks in your roux, I'm afraid you've done ruined it. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. But if that's the case, I'm afraid you burnt your roux and there's no saving it. You'll have to start over, so don't do it. If you feel the heat is getting away from you, just take your pan off the heat and lower the temperature. You really only need to cook this until it gets a nice peanut butter, but preferably milk chocolate color. which should take you anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes depending on how high your heat is. Now, as you can see, we didn't need to use all the flour measured out, but depending on how fatty your sausage and beef are, you just might. Once you've got the color you want, set your roux aside and allow it to cool. All right, it's been an hour. It's time to check on our chili. Now you're checking to see if your meat and your veg are tender now. Let's give it a little spoon squish. The meat and the veg should be tender, but if not, cover and cook for another 20 minutes. So I think we're at that point where we can start adding our roux. So let's start by adding half of our cool roux. Stir that in well. Turn the heat up to medium. Always remember, it's important to add either a cold roux to a hot liquid or hot roux to cold liquid. Otherwise, it could separate and become an oily mess. And you always want to give your roux a little time to really activate its thickening power. So give it a couple minutes before you add additional roux. Let's add half of the remaining roux and repeat as necessary. Stir that around and give that a couple minutes before you add any additional roux. Again, don't get ahead of yourself. Add it slowly. And don't forget, we're also going to add the beans in, which are going to have their own liquid. So that'll thin it out just slightly. And I might add just another half of my remaining roux. Obviously, if you add too much roux, you can just add a little bit of water. Turn down your heat if it's starting to bubble a little too heavy. And we still have a little remaining roux. If for some reason you need it, you can certainly add it. Now let's go ahead and add all of our beans, including all that liquid. Give it a good stir. Now it should be quite viscous, where you're actually having to put a little effort into stirring that pot. Let's go ahead and put this on the back burner for 15 to 30 minutes, just to warm up the beans. All right, it's been half an hour, but always do the chefy thing and give it a taste. The meat's tender, it's creamy, and honestly, I think we need some more sugar. I'm going with all the sugar. But that's Zippy's chili. One more taste. I think that's right on the money. And with that said, I think it's about that time. Now you can eat your Zippy's chili any way you like. Add cheddar cheese, onions, sky's the limit. But me, I'm a traditionalist. All I need is a little bit of hot sauce. That hits a spot, and actually reminds me of my high school freshman year in Hawaii. Me and my friend Matt went to the school fair together. Neither of us had girlfriends. And being freshman nerds into D&D, that didn't change by the end of the night. I guess we both failed our charisma checks. But it was also the night I had my first bowl of Zippy's chili and developed a lasting love affair with it. So, at least there was a happy ending that night. Now that I'm no longer a keiki, there's only one thing that can make this better, and that's a nice, cold, crisp beer. And I prefer a Japanese one for this chili. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Until next time, eat well and be well. And here's to wishing you many more memorable food adventures. Hello, darling. It's been a while.